What's going on, everybody? Thanks again for checking in. Today we're going to talk about metabolism, and this is going to be a big one for everybody because no matter who you are, especially in a society full of food and refrigerators and fast food and really an abundance of food and drinks that we can take in at all times, metabolism's a huge topic because if we slow it down too much, we can crash and burn, and if we speed it up too much, we're not sure where we can kind of stop that intake of calories. So we're going to talk a little bit about how the metabolism works, and then I want to jump right into the good stuff, which is how to speed up your metabolism in a natural way. So we're going to get specific here. We're going to talk about actionable steps that you can take to actually increase your metabolism going forward. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's a long, tedious process if you want to do it the right way. However, it is the best way of doing so, and I work with a lot of people who have a relatively slow metabolism to what it should be, so I want to try to get as much information about this out as possible, and hopefully this can help you. Now, the metabolism itself, if you look at it at a very basic rate, and you understand what BMR, or basal metabolic rate, means, it is taking your height, your weight, hopefully your muscle mass, hopefully your body fat mass, but it is taking your base measurements and getting a broad calculation. You can do this online, a broad calculation out of how many calories your body should be burning at rest. Now, it's not foolproof, everybody's individualized, but at some level we're going to have a random BMR number, okay? That basal metabolic rate is how much we should be able to burn if you just lay down, don't do anything all day, and just get pumped full of calories, okay? This could be anywhere from 12, 13, 1500 to 22, 25, 2700 calories. And obviously, the bigger you are, the more calories your body should naturally be burning. However, this isn't always identified as the easiest way to understand it. So the best way that I find out what a maintenance calorie is, or the amount of calories that you have burning day in and day out without gaining or losing any weight, specifically body fat, is to take into account your food, how much you're eating, as well as how much you're moving. How much you're moving is a little bit harder to track. That gets into what's called NEAT, or TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure. That includes all the movement you do throughout the day, all the walking you do, your exercise, the thermogenic effect of your food that you're consuming. Okay, it involves all of that. But also, what I want to look at the most when I start with people, and I've talked a little bit about this in the past as far as whether or not you should start dieting, is I want to look at how much food you're having. Now, we look for a maintenance weight or a maintenance calorie so that you have your maintenance weight to understand how much food you're having day in and day out on average. I usually go 10 to 14 days before gaining a pound or losing a pound or seeing any true fluctuation in the amount of actual body mass you have on you. So over a 2-week period, let's put this into numbers. Over a 2-week period, let's say you average out 1,500 calories, okay? If you start that 2-week period at a certain weight and end it at a certain rate, and ideally we have some kind of body fat analysis, but let's assume nothing's changed, and we know already that 3,500 calories is equal to 1 pound of body fat. So you haven't overconsumed 3,500 calories in those 2 weeks. You haven't underconsumed 3,500 calories in those 2 weeks. And we're going to assume that your daily energy expenditure is the same. So all other things are similar, and we're just looking at your calories. That average number of calories, and we're saying 1,500, just for argument's sake, is your maintenance level. Now that means that you can have 1,500 calories every single day, on average, and you won't gain a pound. Also means you won't lose a pound. Now, this is where the fun stuff comes into play, and this is where it's going to get good for everyone watching this. I want you to be able to eat as much food as you want and still lose weight. The quality of food is going to be a whole nother topic, but I want you to be able to consume a certain amount of food. I want you to be able to have as much as you want in a given day and not have to worry about it. I want you to have to diet to lose weight. Now, if that number that we're working with, 1,500, is your daily amount, and we want to diet from there, and we want to lose half a pound a week, all right? So we'll take 1,500 calories. We'll know that we want to lose half a pound a week, and that works out to roughly 1,750 calories. Divide your 1,750 by 7 days, and you're going to get a roundabout number a little bit over 250, around 250 or so. So your 1,500 calories now turns into 1,250 calories. That's not a lot of food. And this is where reverse dieting, where speeding up your metabolism comes into play, because if that 1,500 was actually 2,500 or 3,000 calories a day, and the percentage of food you have to take out of your daily life becomes smaller and smaller. You're still eating a good amount of food. For instance, myself, I'm anywhere from 2,400 calories to 3,200 calories. Depends on where I am in my training. But 2,500 calories for me to lose half a pound a week is not very much compared to someone that eats half as much as me. Feels like a lot. Could be almost a whole meal. It could be a breakfast, right? So it's important to understand how much you're actually taking out by only dropping 250 calories. If you don't eat very much food, the bigger the percentage, the more food you actually have to go down. And your metabolism is already not very fast. The true problem here is that if your metabolism is relatively slow, if you go back to what we were talking about a minute ago with your basal metabolic rate, if your body is slowed down how much it should be burning at rest, let alone with all of your daily activity, then that's going to mean your body's gone into what they call starvation mode. It's kind of a hot button issue right now, how much starvation mode is a thing. But at the end of the day, you can store body fat even if you don't eat very much food, because over time, your body's going to want that food for energy. And if it's not getting that food time over time, day over day, then it's going to store body fat. Because from a scientific level, what is body fat? It's stored energy. It's going to store energy because you're not feeding it energy through food. That stored energy, that stored fat, on top of a slower metabolism, makes it really hard to diet down calories. And it makes it really hard to lose body fat if your metabolism's that slow. Now, when you have a small percentage of calories helping you to lose weight, there's only so far you can go from 1,500 calories, right? On the flip side, if you can reverse engineer your metabolism to then speed up to, say, get you to 2,000 calories, that 250 calorie deficit to diet will still drop off the same half pound, but significantly less portion, right? It's 33% less of that initial percentage. I'm going into a lot of math, right? The bottom line is that we want to get you as high as possible without feeling like you're gorging, without feeling like you have to stuff yourself with that food. And you might not even be hungry if you have a slower metabolism. I've seen that plenty of times as well. It feels like you're eating enough because your body has been told that that's how much you're going to eat. Why would you want to be hungry all day, every day? Your body doesn't want to feel hunger. It's not. At some point, it's going to stop sending that signal, hey, I'm hungry. So what we want to do is we want to slowly increase you again. We're going to use that number 1,500, and let's say we want to get you to 2,000. Every 2 weeks, my best method to do this is to increase anywhere from 25 to 100 calories a day. So if you're eating on average 1,500 calories, I want you maybe an extra 50 calories to 1,550. And I want you to eat 1,550 every day for 2 weeks. Now, you can do that quick math. That works out to 700 calories. And if we look at 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of body fat, you're not even halfway to a pound of body fat. You shouldn't even be at half a pound of body fat with 700 calories. All right? So there shouldn't be a worry of you gaining weight with that little amount of food. If you do, then we have to look at that original tracking. Maybe you're a little bit lower, but all of a sudden your body's going to start adapting to 1,550 calories. After those 2 weeks, let's assume the scale hasn't gone up. Let's do it again. Let's do another 50 calories. Now you're eating 1,600 calories a day for 2 weeks. Still haven't gained weight. Ideally, assuming your tracking's on point, right? Now the tracking is the arduous part, the annoying part, the part that we don't want to do, but it's the hard work. That's the hard work you're going to see. That process over time, week over week, month over month, eventually you'll find out where your body wants to be from a metabolism standpoint. That's going to be huge because one day you'll be at 1,850 calories. Maybe you're still hungry. And maybe you want to utilize that hunger signal. And this is where training comes in. This is where the gym comes in, okay? Your food's on point, and now are you building muscle? Are you using that extra food or even that stored body fat as energy for your body to start being anabolic, to start building muscle? If you have a slow metabolism, you might not build any more muscle. Now there's a hormone aspect to it, there's a training aspect to it, and if you take that training aspect and you look at your food, you want your body to start using stored energy as well as the energy you're feeding it to start building muscle. Now, if you know anything about the way that muscle and caloric expenditure works, you know that muscle burns fat naturally. You need a good amount of it to burn even more fat, but a certain amount of muscle will burn a certain amount of calories naturally without you having to do any more work. Okay? And that is how we're going to really boost your metabolism. Not only are we going to teach your body to eat more, but we're also going to be able to tell your body to be in a muscle building state, and we're going to tell your body to use that muscle to burn even more calories. So now you're eating 50 extra calories a day, 100 extra calories a day. Month over month, you're at 400 extra calories a day. And you could lose weight because your body is now getting used to actually getting fed, and now you're using the stored energy that you already were worried about, that fat that was already on your body. And you're going to start burning that because you need more, because you're training properly, because you're building muscle now. It's a recurring cycle, right? It is the same way that we diet down. People think, hey, if I want to diet and I want to do cardio to lose weight, I just expend energy. I want you to expend energy naturally. I want you to build that muscle. I want you to be able to eat as much food as you would like to without gorging, right? You gotta have some limit somewhere. But these are the two topics. These are the two big ones that I've seen work and I've helped others work with often and over time. Again, it takes a while. This is not overnight. But if you've damaged your metabolism on the way down, it's going to take some time to bring it back up, and that's okay. All right? Hit it real quick, one more time. If you have a low BMR, if you track your food and you figure out that you're not eating as much as you should be, slowly increase your calories, week over week, month over month. Start to get that hunger signal back. And as you do that, train to build muscle. It's 4 steps. It's identifying that BMR. It's finding out the number. Okay? It's beginning to increase your calories and train to build muscle. You do those 4 steps, your metabolism is going to speed up. I promise. It's going to work. It might take longer than you'd like it to, or longer than maybe for others. Maybe you got more work to do. Maybe it just takes longer. Maybe you get a setback at some point. That's okay. That's right. You got to trust that it's going to happen. You got to check in with a professional. You got to check in with yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable. Okay? Make it work. Because I know it will. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have concerns, if you don't believe me, hit me up in the comments, hit me up on Instagram, @JCodeFit. I want this to work for you, so I want to hear back from you, okay? I'll see you next time.